Breaking news, Fox 13 has learned more about that Memphis police cruiser involved in a crash in the last few hours. We're detailing what we know in a moment. Today is the day. Early voting begins here in Tennessee. We'll break down everything you need to know so that you can make your voice heard. And caught in the middle of a dispute between juvenile court and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office, Fox 13 asking decision makers how this will be resolved. Fox 13's Good Morning Memphis starts right now. And good morning, Memphis. It's 9 o'clock on this Wednesday, October 16th. I'm Noah Sershin in for Val and Ernie on this Hour of Power. Meteorologist Julia Fife is in Severe Weather Center 13 this morning. And Julia, it started off pretty cold this morning.
It was very chilly this morning. Most of us are now in the 40s. Corinth still holding on to 39 degrees. Stepping out the door right now, we're anywhere from 7 to 13 degrees colder than we were this time yesterday. We had another cold front that ushered in through the overnight. Here in Memphis, we're at 49 degrees. Still going to want that jacket. Still feeling chilly outside. By the time we get to midday, we'll be in the mid 50s. Plenty of sunshine. No rain chance. Have those sunglasses on standby. We're officially in sweater weather. Temperatures this afternoon only going to get near 60 degrees, well below average. But I am tracking even colder temperatures tomorrow morning. I'll break it down for you coming up. Right now, let's check out the roadways with Chelsea Chandler. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so things are looking pretty good on the eastern side of the city. Not seeing any kind of major delays. We're still seeing it on Walnut Grove westbound near Farm Road, but otherwise just kind of stop and go at Poplar and 240 as well as 385 merging onto 240 as well. The one area we do have issues, this is going to be westbound 40 making that bend around the 101 connector towards Chelsea Avenue, that exit. And this is one part of it at least. We've got at least 4 officers on the scene with, it looks like 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, at least 3 vehicles that have been pulled over now to the right side of the interstate. So again, probably rubbernecking delays more than anything at this point. The Fox 13 Traffic Center, I'm meteorologist Chelsea Chandler.
Breaking news now, an MPD officer involved in a crash with another driver. Memphis police telling Fox 13 no one was injured. This crash happened just before 8 on Knight Arnold and Hickory Hill Road. Police aren't saying what led to the crash. Both of the vehicles were able to drive away, but to put this into context for you, there have been more than 200 officer-involved crashes in Memphis this year alone. And Fox 13 staying on top of more breaking news for you now. An 11-year-old girl is fighting for her life after she was hit by a vehicle. It happened just before 7 this morning near Mill Branch and East Rains Road in Whitehaven, just not too far from A. Maceo Walker Middle School and Garden View Elementary School. MPD said the driver of the car remained on the scene and the child's injuries don't seem to be life-threatening. Well, starting today, voters can head to the polls in Tennessee. Now, there are a lot of races on the ballot this year. Fox 13's Carolyn Serta is joining us live from one polling location with a breakdown. And Carolyn, when did the polls open?
At 11 o'clock this morning, Val and Ernie, this is one of 26 locations you can go to cast your ballot. So it is the kickoff today for 2 weeks of early voting ahead of the November general election. So that means, of course, as Val mentioned, this is, of course, to vote for the president of the United States, but also other key races. So in Shelby County, that includes a U.S. Senate seat, state representatives, multiple referendums on the ballot as well. Now, the Shelby County Election Commission gave Fox 13 a look at the polling machines being used this election cycle. They say they've been using these since 2022, did a public testing of the machines as well. Workers saying that these are going to help keep those polls running smoothly, not just during early voting, but of course on election day.
The advantage are that they are the newest technologies that are available. They are accurate. And in fact, we will audit them after the election to make sure of that accuracy.
And again, there are several locations, 26 that you can go to early vote. Just to clarify, while the one I'm at here opens at 11, most on the weekdays on Monday through Friday open at 11 a.m. But the Shelby County Election Commission opens at 9 o'clock, so you can go there right now. On the weekends as well, you can go on Saturdays from 8 to 5 until the end of the month. Now, as mentioned, there are several things that voters will decide on the ballot. We're going to take a closer look at the Shelby County ballot. What exactly you need to know before you head to the polls. We'll have that coming up in about 30 minutes.
Sounds good. That's Fox 13's Carolyn Serta reporting live for us from East Memphis. Carolyn, thanks. Vice President Kamala Harris is preparing for what may be one of the biggest interviews of her career. Meanwhile, former President Donald Trump is reaching out to women. As Fox's Doug Luzada reports, new numbers he found are showing just how big the turnout might be in this year's election.
Early in-person voting is now underway in one of the big swing states this year, and the vice president is getting ready to sit down for an interview with Fox today. Vice President Kamala Harris in Detroit, part of an effort to reach out to black men. She sat down with radio host Charlemagne the God, talking about everything from immigration and slavery reparations to reports she sought to incarcerate black men for marijuana possession as a prosecutor.
I will work on decriminalizing it because I know exactly how those laws have been used to disproportionately impact certain populations, and specifically black men.
And today, Harris will sit down with Fox's Bret Baier for an unedited 30-minute interview.
I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our country.
Former President Trump, meantime, reaching out to women voters at a town hall airing today on Fox. All as Georgia has already set a record for early voting, with polls opening just yesterday.
I just want to get it out of the way because this election means a lot.
Our power rankings have now put Michigan back in play, with the overall race tightening. Trump has a polling edge in most swing states, but it is within the margin of error.
We are now showing durable leads in every single one of those battleground states. So we feel like we're playing offense right now.
But with nearly 3 weeks to go, anything can happen.
Just a week ago, 2 weeks ago even, it was the other way around in some of those states, and it was Harris who was up by half a percentage point or a point in Michigan and Wisconsin, tied in Pennsylvania.
And Pennsylvania is where Harris is heading today ahead of her interview, and then it is on to Wisconsin. In Washington, Doug Luzada, Fox News.
Back here at home, all of the layoffs, route changes, and route cuts surrounding the Memphis Area Transit Authority could be paused. The plan is for 5 routes to be cut, MATA employees to be laid off, and service times to go into effect on November 3rd. Memphis Mayor Paul Young is pushing to get the changes moved to February 3rd, but identifying the resources to find the money is the problem.
In order for us to ask for them to pause those cuts, we have to figure out where can we dig deep and find some resources to allow them to be able to extend the timeline before they make those cuts.
The City Council also approved the resolution for quarterly financial reports from MATA, as well as from the entire MATA board. The new board is now in place. The board unanimously approved the plan for the 9 members at last night's Memphis City Council meeting. Sad news in the Collierville community this morning. The Collierville Police Department has announced that its assistant police chief has died. Jeff Ablin gave more than 30 years to the department. Ablin was raised in a military family and came to the department in 1987 after serving in the Army. He won all kinds of accolades for his service, but he would best be known as a dedicated beekeeper. His honey was a cherished gift among friends and family. In a follow-up, one of the Shelby County deputies injured in a crash yesterday has been released from the hospital and is recovering at home, but for the second deputy, it is still touch and go. They're currently on life support. Both deputies were injured in separate crashes on Highway 64. The chief deputy says that the other drivers pulled out in front of both motorcycle deputies. The deputy who was fighting for their life was responding to that first crash when it happened. Well, in the last 30 minutes, we have heard from a Shelby County commissioner about that dispute between juvenile court and the Shelby County sheriff, and kids are caught in the middle of this conflict over transporting them to juvenile court. Fox 13's Jeremy Pierre is live from the courthouse this morning, and Jeremy, you've been talking with that commissioner. Tell us what it's going to take to fix this issue.
Well, check this out, Val. The juvenile court, they're pointing the finger at the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. The Shelby County Sheriff's Office is basically saying they don't have the money or the personnel to transport these juvenile detainees to juvenile court here on Adams Street. Now, the Shelby County Commission is getting dragged into this because they approved the funding for both departments. Juvenile court attorney Robert Spence called the commission to find a solution. Now, this morning, I asked Commissioner Charlie Caswell what the solution to this standoff just is.
I think the solution is our elected officials coming together, our sheriff and the judge actually coming together to see what's the plan for how we move forward. I think our role in this as commissioners is to help make sure that we got the resources and funding to make sure that plan is implemented.
Now, the hearings here at the juvenile court was supposed to be or resume in person Monday, but today, due to the transportation not happening from the sheriff's office, they will be virtual for a third day and until further notice.
Yeah, a lot of people impacted by that. Hopefully they'll get that figured out sooner rather than later. Thanks, Jeremy. Well, one of the former Memphis police officers who pleaded guilty to his role in the death of Tyre Nichols wants his sentencing to be delayed by 3 months. He wants to move his sentencing to February to give the defense more time to prepare. Mills pleaded guilty last November to 2 of the 4 criminal counts. Right now, sentencing is set for November 7th. Mills is looking at facing a 15-year sentence. Well, now to a call for justice. Activists across the country are calling for the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the death of Ronald Green. He was beaten to death by Louisiana State Police in a traffic stop. In 2019, police reported Green died in a car crash following a chase. Similar to Tyre Nichols, the 5 officers involved shared different stories about what happened that night. Now, Green's family, Tyre Nichols' family, and civil rights attorney Ben Crump chose Memphis and the National Civil Rights Museum to call for the Department of Justice to step in.
You have these white officers. And what happened with Tyre in a week's time, black officers, it should be equal justice.
That's right.
Yeah. You're an officer, you're a badge, uniform, state-paid officer. You're patrolling the streets. And none of you are above the law.
A grand jury indicted the 5 officers in 2022, but it wasn't until this year when the prosecutors dropped the negligent homicide charges against the key officer. However, all of those officers still face several felonies.
That sun is making those temperatures go in the right direction. All of us out of the 30s now when you're stepping out the door. Coming in at 49 here in Memphis, at 46 in Blytheville, still at 41 over in Corinth, at 50 degrees in Clarksdale. Temperatures this afternoon will still be sweater-like, going to be well below average. 61 will be that afternoon high. Through the overnight, though, we're going to have our coldest morning of the week. Frost will be likely for most of the Mid-South. Here in Memphis, we'll be at 41 degrees. But most of us will be in the 30s waking up tomorrow morning. Temperatures for your Thursday, a little bit warmer, but still below average, 66 degrees. But as I head towards the weekend, temperatures are going to be near average. I'll have that full forecast for you coming up.
One packaging company will be experiencing some paper cuts. We'll tell you what this means for some of the 400 people that are being laid off at International Papers. Plus, some Tennesseans are providing help in the fight after Hurricane Milton left devastation in Florida. And new updates in a case that rocked the world in the 90s. A look at the support Eric and Lyle Menendez are receiving from their family. And right now, we're taking a live look at your Fox 13 real-time traffic. This is I-40 near the 101 connector. Police have left the scene and traffic is flowing just fine. Right now, there are no accidents to report around the Memphis Metro and the Mid-South, but as always, we'll keep you updated. You're watching Good Morning Memphis live on Fox 13. We'll be right back.
On Good Morning Memphis, we know you count on us. That's why every morning we cover the big stories that are happening now.
We genuinely care about making sure you have everything you need to plan for the day. With more local news than anyone else, you'll know what's happening where you live.
And Teen Weather focused on helping you get ready, alerting you ahead of severe weather. We track live traffic conditions to give you alternate routes around delays and get you to work on time.
Good Morning Memphis is local coverage you can count on.
This segment of today's broadcast is brought to you by Landers Buick GMC in South Haven.
One of Memphis's largest employers is cutting hundreds of jobs. International Paper announcing that 650 jobs will be cut, 400 of those in Memphis. Fox 13's Sheila O'Connor is joining us live from IP. And Sheila, why are these cuts happening?
International Paper telling Fox 13 essentially these layoffs are happening because the company is undergoing a, quote, transformational journey. They're trying to become a stronger, more profitable company. That's what IP told Fox 13. Now, right now, there's no word on which positions are being cut and when these layoffs will go into effect. But International Paper worldwide employs about 39,000 people. Here in Memphis, they employ about 2,500. 400 people are about to lose their jobs. The Memphis Business Journal lists the company as the 23rd largest employer in the city. Now, some of the company's products and services that they provide include packaging, paper, recycling, and pulp. A lot of their products are used in everything from shipping boxes to hygiene products. Fox 13 also spoke with Daniel Irwin with the Better Business Bureau about what these layoffs mean to people in Memphis.
They're a major player in the business community here in Memphis, and they're also a huge sponsor of many, many events. And we always hate to hear when people lose their jobs. So our thoughts just go out to all those employees and their families that are going to be impacted. And it's just it's pretty sad.
Memphis Mayor Paul Young also commenting on the layoffs, saying, "We deeply feel the impact of every job loss in our city, even when the ultimate intent is to strengthen the profitability and health of the company making the cuts." International Paper has stated that these layoffs were necessary to build a more robust organization. We believe their dedication to Memphis remains strong. International Paper says the company will be providing severance packages, outplacement assistance, and mental health resources to those whose jobs are being cut.
That's Fox 13. Sheila O'Connor reporting live for us. Sheila, thanks. It's been 3 weeks since Hurricane Helene caused devastation in the southern part of the country. 250 people dead, 17 of those in Tennessee. Now, the family of one of those workers in Unicoi County, Tennessee, is filing a wrongful death lawsuit against that Impact Plastics company. Johnny Peterson is one of those people who was swept away by that flood. The lawsuit said that once the parking lot started to flood, they had the chance to move their cars to higher ground, but they couldn't leave until it was too late. According to the lawsuit, the managers quietly left and went home. Managers have denied claims that they refused to let those workers leave. Well, in the aftermath of Hurricane Milton, TDOT crews are headed to Florida to lend a helping hand. Crews will assist with heavy debris removal, infrastructure assessments, and road repairs. Today, 22 TDOT vehicles left the volunteer state hauling heavy construction equipment and supply trailers. Crews are expected to be in Florida for the next 2 weeks. The commissioner for TDOT says that the department is proud to have the equipment to help those impacted by Milton. New developments in the infamous Menendez brothers case. Nearly 24 family members are promising new revelations in a press conference happening today. Eric and Lyle Menendez were convicted of murdering their parents in 1989. In the years that followed, new evidence has come to light, including a letter from Eric alleging abuse from his father and a sworn statement from a third party claiming similar abuse. The district attorney in Los Angeles is considering whether the brothers are entitled to a rehearing or resentencing. Defense attorney Mark Garagos and comedian Rosie O'Donnell will join the Menendez family at that press conference. Fox 13 has team weather coverage for you this morning. Meteorologist Chelsea Chandler has the extended forecast for Halloween. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Julia Fife with that chilly forecast.
We did have that cold front that moved through overnight, reinforced even colder temperatures across the mid-south, but plenty of sunshine. We've got that high pressure system off to our northwest, rain-free conditions as we head into the afternoon. Those highs are going to be below average, near 60 degrees all across the mid-south. Through the overnight, we're going to have our coldest morning of the week. Here in Memphis, we'll be at 41 degrees, but most of the mid-south will be in the 30s, so likely going to see some more frosty conditions, so definitely cover your sensitive plants through the overnight. Temperatures warming up a little bit tomorrow, but still below average, 66 degrees. By Friday, we'll be at 70. Normally this time of year, we're around 75 degrees. A great weekend forecast for you. Get outside and enjoy it. Temperatures will be warming up near average for this time of year. We'll be at 74 for your Saturday, 76 for your Sunday. Plenty of sunshine. Again, going to keep that rain away as we head into the weekend. Now, there's been a lot of misinformation about the tropics this week. Right now, there is no imminent threat to Florida. We do have that disturbance in central Atlantic right now. The percentage for that to be our next named storm has gone down since yesterday, now at 40%, but this time of year, a lot of cold fronts move through, so that is expected to stay well off to our south. We also have this disturbance near the Caribbean, has a 20% chance to be our next named storm. Now, it's October. We're all looking forward to Halloween. To track out that forecast for you, let's take it over to meteorologist Chelsea Chandler.
Thank you, Julia. Yeah, so as Julia's been tracking the immediate forecast and through your 7-day, this is an extended forecast that we're looking at beyond it so that you can prepare for picking out your costumes and just how comfortable you'll be. Now, as we look within beyond that 7-day forecast, our average high temperature will drop between about 69 and 72 degrees. At that time, though, we are expected to be above average, really peaking in the mid 80s and then dropping a little bit as we fluctuate and get closer to Halloween itself. Now, looking at NOAA's forecast, they put pretty much the entire eastern half of the U.S. at above average conditions up until Halloween itself. Now, as we get into the Hallows Eve and then Halloween, we could see a cold front that comes through and brings those temperatures back to average. With that, we could see a bit of rain. Haven't seen it all month. We also would see some winds expected with that cold front as well that could make it a little chilly. Just know that this is a guide, again, to help you plan. We've got many parties coming up, trunk or treats in the meantime up until this point. My mom always had a bodysuit ready for me to go just in case I was cold on the way out. So it's good to be prepared ahead of time rather than rushing at the last minute. Of course, we'll continue to track it. Julia.
Thank you, Chelsea. Temperatures this afternoon well below average. We're going to come in at 61 degrees, plenty of sunshine. By Friday, we'll be at 70 degrees. A great weekend forecast for you, right where we're supposed to be temperature-wise, in the mid-70s. Going to keep rain-free conditions as we head into next week. By Monday, warming up to 78 degrees. Tuesday, near 80, forecasting a high of 79 degrees with a low rain chance, morning lows in the mid-50s.
Well, everyone loves a chance to relax, and that's not stopping one California bear from getting his relaxing time in. Coming up on Fox 13 News Midday, a look at the spa day this bear got at the expense of a family's hot tub. And dribbling for a cause, Fox 13 recapping last night's Hoops for St. Jude Classic. There's a back and forth in Memphis Shelby County Schools between the superintendent and the school board. The differences in how they want to evaluate Superintendent Dr. Marie Fagans. In an effort to deter crime, Memphis Police is offering a grant to prevent crime that your neighborhood might be eligible for. The money would be given to neighborhood watch groups so that they can pay for safety projects in their communities. Leadership for the group program says that the workshops involve so much more than teaching the neighborhood watch groups about how they can get the money.
It helps get the citizens involved with crime prevention in their communities. They learn about the different crime data that is really inside of their communities, not just Memphis as a whole.
Applicants can get up to $2,500 each for a number of projects. Dates for the workshops can be found on MPD's Facebook page. We're getting a behind-the-scenes look at the St. Jude tip-off last night. That doubleheader at the FedEx Forum featured the University of Memphis Tigers men's and women basketball teams taking on two of the best in the nation. The men played tough against number 9 North Carolina. They lost 84-76. The Tiger women handed a 106-63 loss by the defending national champion South Carolina Gamecocks, showing why they're the national champs. But the good news is that it was a win for St. Jude. We're seeing some of the photos showing what made this event so special. Some of the patients got to meet and hang out with the players. Even one patient, Addie, got to sing the national anthem. San Antonio Spurs icon Victor Wembanyama is filing a lawsuit. The Spurs player is suing James T. Glodich, the owner of Wembley's World website. The issue is using Wemby's likeness, his image, and name on merch without authorization. The lawsuit says over the last year, Glodich filed multiple trademark applications for Wemby's World and L. Wemby for his products, all of which were denied, but Glodich moved forward with registering the website and selling the merchandise with Wemby's likeness. The Spurs player sent several cease and desist letters, but they went ignored. Now Wemby is filing a lawsuit asking for a jury trial to put a stop to Glodich. Alright y'all, take a look at this video here. It shows police in Ohio with a suspect, but that suspect isn't what you think. Officers were called for a runaway inflatable pumpkin. Yeah, you heard that right, an inflatable pumpkin. The officer got out of his car to try to grab the big Halloween display, but then the pumpkin rolled right over him. Backup officers came to finally roll that pumpkin off the officer onto the street and right onto the patch where it belonged. The police department said no officers or pumpkins were injured. Well, if you're in the Halloween spirit, the Memphis Botanic Garden might be the place for you. They're hosting Halloween Hike this Saturday, October 19th from 9:30 a.m. until 2:30 in the afternoon. Tickets are $10 for Botanic Garden members, $15 for non-members, and $18 for same-day tickets. Children get free entrance. Food trucks like Just Wraps, Fry Guys, Fiesta Wagon, and Dulce, and Donut and V will be on site. There will be live music from Andrew Best. The Botanic Garden says that costumes are encouraged. Well, we've had another officer-involved crash in Memphis this morning. We'll tell you what we've learned as the city has seen over 100 officer-involved crashes this year. International paper cuts, why one of Memphis's largest employers says that it's slashing hundreds of jobs right here in Memphis. And it's been a cold start to the morning. Some folks waking up with temps in the 30s, and tomorrow could be even colder. Yeah, I know some of us aren't ready for that. Fox 13 has live team coverage this morning. Our team of meteorologists are tracking the chilly temps and more ahead. You're watching Good Morning Memphis live on Fox 13.
Fox 13's Good Morning Memphis starts now.
This morning, we've had yet another officer-involved crash involving Memphis police, what we've learned about this crash, and the ongoing shortage of patrol cars. Plus, early voting begins in Tennessee today. We'll tell you what you need to know as you head out to the polls. And hundreds of jobs in Memphis going away. This morning, we're breaking down the major layoffs at International Paper. Good morning, and thank you for joining us here for Good Morning Memphis at 9:30. I'm Noah Sershin. It's Wednesday, October 16th, and it's a beautiful start to the day, but a chilly one. Fox 13 meteorologist Julia Fife joining us from Severe Weather Center 13. And Julia, it's good the temps are warming up.
Temperatures, though, are headed in the right direction. That sun's coming up. We're at 49 degrees as you step out the door. We had that reinforcing cold front that moved through overnight, so those winds coming out of the north-northeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour, bringing in that colder and drier air. We're 9 degrees colder than we were this time yesterday. So we're still going to be in the 40s for the next hour. By 10 o'clock, we'll be at 51 degrees, in the mid-50s by noontime. Heading into the afternoon hours, that's when we're going to be in the low 60s. By 8 o'clock this evening, back to 51 degrees. That afternoon high here in Memphis will be at 61 degrees, so well below average for this time of year. Plenty of sunshine and rain-free conditions, but I am tracking even colder temperatures as we head into tomorrow morning. I'll break it down for you coming up. Right now, let's check out those roadways with Chelsea Chandler. Good morning.
Good morning. So the good news is we don't have any accidents or delays across the Mid-South, so it's looking good all throughout the Memphis Metro, whether you're inbounds or outbounds. We did have a little bit of trouble earlier at 40 and 40 westbound, just past the 101 connector, but we're no longer seeing that. That has cleared. But this is a look on the eastern side of the city at the flyover. You can see it is wide open westbound, whether you're traveling to the north leg at I-40 or 240 or to Sam Cooper. Looks good on the eastbound side as well. Now, with these cold temperatures, as Julie has been telling you about each morning, we are going to be dealing with some issues with your car. You may see your tire light come on because when we see our temperatures drop by at least 10 degrees like we did overnight, you could lose about a pound or 2 pounds of pressure. So you want to check that. Also want to keep an eye in the event that you do develop frost. Probably won't see a lot of that this go round, but just a reminder for the future, make sure you clean that off before you get going, but also allow your engine some time to warm up and don't leave it unattended while it's running because that is illegal. We'll continue to monitor the roads in the Fox 13 Traffic Center. I'm meteorologist Chelsea Chandler.
Fox 13 staying on top of breaking news. An 11-year-old girl is fighting for her life after she was hit by a vehicle. It happened just before 7 this morning near Mill Branch and East Rains Road in Whitehaven, just not too far from Maceo Walker Middle School and Garden View Elementary School. MPD said the driver of the car remained on the scene and the child's injuries don't seem to be life-threatening. Even more breaking news, an MPD officer involved in a crash with another driver. Memphis police telling Fox 13 no one was injured. This crash happened just before 8 on Knight Arnold and Hickory Hill Road. Police aren't saying what led to the crash. Both of those vehicles were able to drive away. But to put this into context for you, there have been more than 200 officer-involved crashes in Memphis this year alone. Well, the largest cause for deaths in teens over the past several years has been vehicle crashes. In fact, over 2,000 teens between 15 and 25 years old died while they were on the road. The Memphis Highway Patrol wants to send a clear message to teens off for fall break this week. One state trooper says that there are a few rules teens need to be aware of, like the basics, putting on your seatbelt, driving hands-free, and getting a designated driver or rideshare if they choose to drink.
This week is just special because now we're putting totally a lot of emphasis on that teen driver. And so we want to make sure that they know, they're new drivers, they're beginner drivers, don't have a lot of experience behind the wheel.
Yeah, some good advice there. And that trooper goes on to say that anytime anyone is behind the wheel, it is not a game. He also stressed how quickly accidents can happen. Well, today is the day early voting in Tennessee. Now, early voting for the November election gets underway in about 90 minutes. Fox 13's Carolyn Serta is live in East Memphis with more. Carolyn, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ernie and Val. Yeah, the Shelby County Election Commission downtown, they're open now, but all of the other 25 polling locations, they will open at 11 o'clock this morning. But look, what's on this ballot is more than just the presidential race, right? This is for the November election. So for Shelby County, we're talking about, of course, voters being able to come out starting today and for the next 2 weeks for early voting for that election. Of course, that is voting for the President of the United States, but other races, including the U.S. Senate seat, state representatives, and 6 referendums. That is what Shelby County voters will find on their ballot. Now, 3 of those referendums ask about gun safety measures. The others deal with requirements for mayor and city council and who will decide those elected officials' salaries.
Especially for the Memphis voters, residents, that there are some referendums on the ballot that if they would please read those prior to coming to vote, because they are rather lengthy. So please read them first.
So if you're ready to head out and cast your ballot, this is what you need to know for early voting. You can do so now through the end of the month, October 31st. Again, there are limited polling locations, but they're open Monday through Saturday in Shelby County. Those hours vary by location, but the majority of them, they're open 11 to 7 on weekdays and from 8 to 5 on Saturdays. And as mentioned, there is this ballot that you can see ahead of time, the sample ballot, and you are encouraged by election leaders to go ahead and read those referendums ahead of time so you know exactly what you're voting for when you head into the polling booth. Again, November 5th is election day, so a couple of weeks to get out and vote early if you don't, or you believe you won't be available on election day.
All right, now it's a chance. That's Fox 13's Carolyn Serta reporting live for us in East Memphis. The Memphis Shelby County Schools Board and Superintendent Dr. Marie Fagans are continuing talks over how her evaluation should work. A meeting last night was held all to work towards suggestions for that evaluation. The evaluation must include different ratings, including objectives adopted by the school board like student success and teacher and faculty relations. The board wants a heavier focus to be put on faculty relations, bringing up restructuring that included layoffs and pay cuts. Dr. Fagan says the grading shouldn't change, citing a lack of support.
How you rate me is how you're going to rate me. I don't wake up to run away from a tool, an evaluation. But to your point about feeling like this was some intentions, I think it would be, ignorant of me to sit here and 6 months into my tenure to act like the support has been high and the feedback has been high, because it has not been.
Now, per board policy, the evaluation has to happen in October, meaning they have less than 2 weeks to come to a consensus and carry out the evaluation. A judge has ruled that Serenity Towers is a chronic nuisance. The decision was made by Judge Dandridge in environmental court yesterday. He described there being, quote, a pattern that negatively impacts the health and safety of occupants, end quote. This comes after a months-long battle between the city of Memphis and apartment complex. Yesterday was the first of 3 hearings that will take place. At the owner's expense, there will need to be a unit-by-unit inspection. There was a City of Memphis sweep on September 13th that may qualify, but that won't be decided until October 29th when the second hearing takes place. Both sides will appear in court again 30 days after that for the final hearing. One of Memphis's largest employers is cutting hundreds of jobs. International paper announcing that 650 jobs will be cut, 400 of those in Memphis. Fox 13's Sheila O'Connor is joining us live from IP with the latest. Hey, Sheila.
Good morning. An international paper telling Fox 13 the reason behind these layoffs is because the company is going through a, quote, transformational journey, trying to become a stronger, more profitable company. So that's one of the reasons why these layoffs have happened. Now, right now, there's no word on which positions are being cut and when these layoffs will go into effect. International paper worldwide employs about 39,000 people, but here in Memphis, they employ about 2,500. Now, according to the Memphis Business Journal, international paper is the 23rd largest employer in the city of Memphis. Some of their services and products include packaging, paper, recycling, and pulp, and a lot of their products are used in everything from shipping boxes to hygiene products. Fox 13 caught up with Memphis City Council Chairman J.B. Smiley about the impact these layoffs will have.
It definitely impacts, a lot of folks, because those folks have families that they're supporting. So, you're talking about, from impacting intimate family members to children to folks in the entire community, because that company people rely on to have the ability to hire folks in our community. So we're just trying to find ways to continue moving the city forward with companies like this saying, hey, it's not working here. So we just got to figure out how to improve the city going forward.
Memphis Mayor Paul Young also commenting on the layoffs, saying we deeply feel the impact of every job loss in our city, even when the ultimate intent is to strengthen the profitability and health of the company making the cuts. International paper has stated that these layoffs were necessary to build a more robust organization. We believe their dedication to Memphis remains strong. International paper says the company will be offering severance packages, outplacement assistance, and mental health resources to those who've lost their jobs.
Yeah, that definitely has to be scary for them losing their jobs, so hopefully those resources will help. Thanks, Sheila. This morning, Fox 13 is getting answers to resolve a dispute between juvenile court and the Shelby County Sheriff's Office. The two sides deadlocked over how they'll bring juvenile detainees to court hearings. Fox 13's Jeremy Pierre live from juvenile court this morning. And JP, I understand you spoke with the commissioner. What did he have to say?
Well, look, the commission is involved because they basically approved the budgets for both the sheriff's office as well as juvenile court. Now, the juvenile court building closed for months to clean up mold and asbestos. Hearings were supposed to resume here Monday, but the sheriff refused to transport juvenile detainees here from the youth center in Oak Haven. Juvenile court contends not bringing the kids may violate their constitutional rights. The sheriff's office says it does not have the personnel or funding to make those trips. This morning, Commissioner Charlie Caswell told me this needs to be resolved quickly for the sake of the children.
So we need to make sure that we do right by them, because we know the ripple effect of not doing right by them and sitting them in a jail, not getting court cases heard, is going to be a longer term effect on them if we don't act now.
Commissioner Caswell went on saying that he needs, the commission needs funding presentations from juvenile court and the sheriff so the commission can allocate the money. For now, juvenile hearings will be virtual until further notice.
All right, that's Fox 13's Jeremy Pierre reporting live for us from juvenile court. It's going to get a check of our Fox 13 weather and real-time traffic.
Definitely going to bundle up. Tomorrow's going to be our coldest morning of the week. We're going to be in sweater weather for the next 2 days. Afternoon highs today well below average, 61 degrees. For your Thursday, still pretty chilly. 66 degrees is all we're going to warm up to. But like Val said, what we're keeping an eye on is those morning lows. So tomorrow morning is going to be our coldest morning of the week, 41 degrees. The rest of the mid-south is going to be in the 30s. That's that Memphis morning low. Frost will be likely across the the Mid-South. For your Friday, warming up a little bit. 44 will be that morning low here in Memphis. Frost will be possible in parts of the Mid-South. Then we gradually start to warm up as we head into the weekend, tracking near normal temperatures. I'll have that full forecast for you coming up.
The Memphis Sports Hall of Fame is happening tonight. We'll tell you who will be inducted straight ahead. And if you plan to fly one airline soon, you might be getting a fancier ride. Later, a look at the changes Delta is making to its seating. You're watching Good Morning Memphis live on Fox 13. Activists rallied at Kellogg's headquarters in Battle Creek, Michigan to protest the food company's use of artificial dyes in its food, particularly red dye number 3, which according to data from the National Library of Medicine causes cancer in animals. The protest was led by Vannie Harry, a food activist with nearly 2 million followers on social media. A petition created by Harry gathered over 170,000 signatures asking to remove artificial food dyes from its children's cereals was presented. In response, Kellogg says its ingredients are compliant with all relevant laws and regulations. Happening today, Grizz legend Zach Randolph and Super Bowl champ and former Vol Reggie White will be inducted into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame today. They are just a few of the 11 inductees. The ceremony is tonight at the Renaissance Convention Center. 5 former Memphis Tigers will also be inducted. Well, a new study found that Americans haven't been worried about making their minimum credit card payments since the pandemic. The information comes from Federal Reserve Bank of New York. In its September survey, it showed the average perceived probability missing a minimum debt payment during the next 3 months was more than 14%. That's the highest reading since April 2020. Outside of the pandemic, it's the highest delinquency expectation reading since January 2017, and it's the 4th monthly increase in a row. Delta Airlines says it's upgrading the look and feel of its interior cabins. The new color palette will be a deeper navy and dark gray with red accents intended to look more modern and relaxing. The lighting will be warmer to further emphasize relaxation. Cabin seats will have an engineered leather, and premium seats will have a breathable cloth design to regulate temperature, but the spacing of seats will not change. The Carrier 757 fleet will be the first outfitted with the new design, followed by the wide-body Airbus A350s next year. Delta says eventually all of its aircrafts will be upgraded. The design refresh is ahead of the company's centennial celebration. All right, well, we've got team coverage on weather this Wednesday. Fox 13 meteorologist Chelsea Chandler detailing when we can expect to see those beautiful fall colors on the trees. But first, let's get a check of our forecast with Julia Fife. And Julia, again, it's been another chilly start to the day. I understand it gets even colder tomorrow.
Yes, Val, temperatures are going to continue to drop as we head into the overnight. But today is actually going to be a nice day. Just have that sweater. Gorgeous sunshine right now. You can see that from our live look from Beale Street. We'll be at 61 this afternoon, so well below average. Plenty of sunshine, no chance for rain. We had a reinforcing cold front that moved through overnight, so we've got those winds coming out of the northeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour, bringing in that colder and drier air. But tomorrow morning is what we're keeping an eye on. All of the Mid-South will be in the 30s with the exception of Memphis coming in at 41, 35 in Covington and Bolivar, 34 over in Corinth and Selmer. So likely we'll have some more frost as we head into tomorrow morning. So once again, going to want to cover any of those sensitive plants. But temperatures will gradually start warming up as we head towards the weekend. We'll be at 66 for your Thursday, so still below average. We'll be at 70 for your Friday, then right where we're supposed to be as we head into the weekend. Saturday, forecasting a high of 74 degrees. Not tracking any rain chances in the forecast as we head into next week. And we have not had any measurable rain for the month of October. So we ended September well above average with those rainfall totals, but now we're going to see those drought conditions expand across the Mid-South, and that could affect the fall foliage. To break it down for you, let's take it over to meteorologist Chelsea Chandler.
Thank you, Julia. In the Mid-South, the peak time for leaves to change color typically occurs between mid-October and early November. Now, this region, including areas like the Mid-South, see fall foliage influenced by factors like temperature fluctuations, rainfall, and the timing of the first frost, which for some may be this week. Cooler nights combined with sunny days usually promote vibrant colors, while drought conditions can cause leaves to change earlier and drop quicker. Well, here's a look at your typical foliage timeline. Early October, some color begins in higher elevations or northern parts of the region. Mid to late October, the most significant color changes occur with vibrant displays of reds, oranges, and yellows. Early November, the peak of color is often seen in lowland areas, but the foliage quickly starts to fade after that point. Now this season, the Mid-South has experienced some drought conditions earlier in the year, but recent September rains has helped alleviate those. As a result, while somewhat delayed, colors should be still visible through the end of October and into early November. Cooler nights should also help enhance the leaf color change. The overall outlook for vibrant fall colors is moderately positive this year, with rain patterns playing a key role in determining how long the leaves will stay on the trees. Now, so far this month, we have not seen any measurable rain, but we'll continue to track the possibility.
Thank you, Chelsea. Temperatures this afternoon below average, only 61 degrees. Plenty of sunshine, though. We'll gradually be warming up as we head into your Thursday, but those morning lows for most of us are going to be in the 30s, so could have some more frost on your plants tomorrow morning. By Friday, we'll be at 70 degrees, mid 70s for the weekend. Starting off next week, near 80 degrees with morning lows in the 50s.
A big reward for one Cordova teacher on a national level, how this educator is helping to prepare his students for the workforce. Well, teachers have the essential task of preparing students for the workforce in the real world. A Mid-South teacher who helped students get a career was given an award. This reward comes with prize money. Fox 13's education reporter Rosalind Freeman was there to capture this exciting moment.
In this garage at Cordova High School, teacher Brian Sneed is giving students a jump start in their career as an auto mechanic. From changing tires to the spark plugs, he's helping them prepare for the workforce. His efforts is paying off.
I was told not to come down here. I was like, what do I do now?
Cordova High School automotive teacher Brian Sneed is one of 25 teachers across the United States to receive the 2024 Harbor Freight Tools for Schools Prize for Teaching Excellence. Along with the award comes $15,000 for Sneed and $35,000 for the school's Skilled Trades program.
$50,000.
Sneed has taught in the Mid-South for nearly 2 decades. He said his goal is to teach skills needed for life and the workforce.
You need a job skill. If that job skill comes from a 4-year degree, so be it. But if it doesn't, get what you need in order to do the job you want to do that's going to make your life enjoyable.
The Association for Career and Technical Education reports 77% of employers in high-demand industries have hired employees based on knowledge and skills gained from their CTE experience. I spoke with a few of Sneed's students who told me that with guidance and training, they are not only prepared for the industry, but they are already working at local businesses.
I hope a lot of women get more involved into mechanics because, it's not a hard thing for you to learn. I feel like a lot of them are just intimidated by it since it's a male industry.
And he's always been there with me through getting a job at AutoZone and then switching to Discount Tire. He's always there at the process with me.
Sneed is hosting a career fair. It's Wednesday to introduce students to careers in the technical industry. Now, it's happening in the Cordova parking lot. For more details, head over to our website at fox13memphis.com. In Cordova, Rosalind Freeman, Fox 13 News.
It was a cold start to the day. Temperatures this afternoon only going to be warming up to 61 degrees. Plenty of sunshine through the overnight. Potential to see some more frost. A lot of us will be in the 30s when you wake up tomorrow morning. Then temperatures start gradually warming up as we head towards the end of the week. By Friday, those afternoon highs will be at 70 degrees. We've got a great weekend forecast for you. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures are going to be near average in the mid 70s as we start off next week. We'll be at 78 for your Monday. Rain-free conditions. It will be at 79 for your Tuesday.
Well, we want to thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Memphis on this chilly Wednesday. Don't forget to watch Midday for your local coverage you can count on. The Sherry Shepherd's Show is up next. We'll see you then. Have a great day.